What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we need to talk about The Boys Season 5 Episode 7, because honestly, after the insane ending of Episode 6, this show has officially entered full chaos mode. At this point, we are way past the setup phase. No more teasing, no more slow build-up. Now every single decision matters, every character is in danger, and it genuinely feels like nobody is safe anymore. And the craziest part? This is the second to last episode of the entire series, meaning whatever happens in Episode 7 is going to directly explode into the finale. This is the domino episode, the episode where everything starts collapsing. So today we're breaking down the biggest theories, the most likely deaths, and how the boys could realistically stop Homelander at this point. Because honestly, I have no idea how they're supposed to win anymore. First, let's talk about the episode title, because the title alone already has fans panicking. The episode is called The Frenchman, the Female, and the Man Called Mother's Milk. And if you followed The Boys for years, then you already know this show does not choose titles randomly. Whenever the writers spotlight specific characters this late in the story, it usually means something terrible is about to happen. And that's why a lot of fans already believe one of those three characters, Frenchie, Kimiko, or is probably going to die. And honestly, I don't think that theory is crazy at all. Because think about it. We've already seen huge deaths from Soups and members of E07. But we still haven't gotten that massive emotional gut punch from the core boys team. And with only 2 episodes left, it really feels like the writers have been saving those deaths for the endgame. Episode 8 will probably be an absolute bloodbath. But Episode 7, this feels like the beginning of the emotional destruction. And personally, I think Frenchie and Kimiko are in the most danger. Because the way Season 5 handled their breakup felt really suspicious. It didn't feel like normal relationship drama. It felt like the writers were emotionally separating them before physically removing one of them from the story. And honestly, that's terrifying. The show spent 4 seasons building their relationship, making fans root for them, making us emotionally attached to them. And now, right before the finale, they suddenly split them apart? That feels intentional. It feels like classic tragic storytelling. Personally, I think Frenchie sacrificing himself to save Kimiko makes the most sense narratively. His entire character has always been built around guilt and redemption. He's constantly trying to make up for his past mistakes. So if he dies protecting Kimiko, it would be heartbreaking, but also perfectly in character. But at the same time, if Kimiko dies, that might actually hit even harder. Because at this point, audiences almost see Kimiko as invincible after everything she's survived. So if the writers suddenly kill her off, that would completely destroy fans emotionally. And honestly, the darkest possibility is that both of them die. Imagine this. Frenchie sacrifices himself first. Then Kimiko completely loses control. Full rage mode. No fear. No restraint. And she jumps into a fight she was never meant to survive. That would be devastating. But it would also perfectly show how dangerous Homelander and Soldier Boy have become together. Which brings us to the biggest problem in the entire show right now. Homelander and Soldier Boy. Because after Episode 6, I honestly think we're finally about to see a real father-son alliance. And I don't mean a temporary team-up. I mean Soldier Boy genuinely standing beside Homelander. Before this, I thought Soldier Boy would eventually betray him. Because Soldier Boy has always been selfish and unpredictable. But after giving him V1, everything changed. Because V1 wasn't just a power upgrade. That was Soldier Boy basically validating Homelander as his true successor. And that's terrifying. Because Homelander's biggest weakness has always been validation. He wants love. He wants acceptance. He wants family. And now, for the first time in his life, his father is actually giving him that approval. Madeline Stillwell manipulated him emotionally. But Soldier Boy's approval hits differently. Now Homelander doesn't just see himself as a god. Now he feels like his own father believes it too. And honestly, that might unlock the scariest version of Homelander we've ever seen. At this point, the boys are no longer fighting an unstable villain. They're fighting a fully validated monster with unlimited power and zero emotional restraint. And Soldier Boy is standing right beside him. So realistically, how do the boys even stop them? There are a lot of theories online saying could somehow gain Soldier Boy's powers and use them against Homelander. And yeah, conceptually, that sounds poetic. M's entire story has revolved around his hatred for Soldier Boy. But honestly, I don't think the show is going to take such an easy power-up route. Now, could eventually take Compound V out of desperation? Absolutely. And honestly, that would be dark. Imagine becoming the exact thing he spent his entire life hating. That would completely break him morally. But personally, I think the more realistic outcome is that the boys try using Soldier Boy himself as a weapon. because we already know his blast can neutralize Compound V abilities. So theoretically, if Soldier Boy's blast hits Homelander, it could weaken the V1 inside him. The problem is, how do you even hit Homelander now? He's faster, stronger, and more unstable than ever before. Which is exactly why Moreau from Gen V could become incredibly important. Because Marie's powers are honestly terrifying. We already saw her briefly in the trailer, and Episode 7 feels like the perfect moment for her return. Her blood manipulation abilities might actually be one of the most dangerous powers in this entire universe. She can theoretically stop someone's heart, cause internal bleeding, and maybe even manipulate the V inside someone's bloodstream. But honestly, I still don't think Marie is the final answer. She'll probably help. She might even hurt Homelander temporarily. But if a Gen V character suddenly shows up and solves the biggest problem in the boys, that would feel lazy. And realistically, if Marie directly confronts Homelander, her chances of surviving are probably very low. And finally, we need to talk about the Deep. Because honestly, I think he's completely screwed this time. Every season, the Deep does something unbelievably stupid and somehow survives anyway. But this time feels different. Because killing Noir crossed a line. Whether Homelander personally cared about Noir or not, Noir represented loyalty. And Homelander hates betrayal more than anything. So the moment he finds out what Deep did, I genuinely think Deep is going to get one of the most brutal punishments in the entire series. Overall, guys, Episode 7 feels like pure disaster waiting to happen. The stakes are at their absolute highest right now, and honestly, nobody feels safe anymore. So now I want to hear your theories. Who do you think is in the most danger? Frenchie? Kimiko? Do you think Soldier Boy is truly on Homelander's side now, or is a betrayal still coming? And most importantly, how do the boys realistically stop Homelander at this point? Drop your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed the breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the finale coverage. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next